All right, here's a look at the McNeese Cowboys. 14 starters are back. Offensive 5, defensive side 7, along with a couple of special teamers. Last year, great season there in Lake Charles. 9-2 overall, 7-2 in the Southland Conference, tied for 3rd. And now it's on to the next new season and high expectations again. Season opener September 1st at Northern Colorado. And then the following week, week 2, the Cowboys will open Southland Conference play here in Houston, taking on the Huskies of Houston Baptist. Defense standout performance a year ago. We'll talk a lot about those numbers as we progress here in the next few minutes. Pleasure to be joined on stage by the head coach, 3rd-year head coach at McNeese, Lance Guidry. Good to see you again, and welcome to Houston. I know you're ready for another new season. It gets going here pretty shortly for you guys.
Good to see y'all. Good afternoon. Good to be back. Of course, we had a good year last year. Wasn't quite good enough, evidently. But anytime you can win 9 games is really impressive. But our goals are pretty high at McNeese. We've got a great tradition, a great history. We've always set our goals really high, and that's to get back to the national championship and, of course, getting in the playoffs and winning a conference championship. And the only way guaranteed that you go to the playoffs is either win the conference or come out second. And we didn't do that. So this year's a different football team. Each year it is, and last year was a 9-win team. And this year's brand new. So I'm excited. I think the players are excited. And hopefully we're going to have a good season.
If you have any questions for Coach, we'll open it up here in just a few moments. Coach, I do want to ask you, and we spoke briefly just a few moments ago, you guys went 9-2, great run in conference play. Many felt you guys should have been a lock in the playoffs. For whatever reason, it didn't happen. How did that affect you and the guys when that news came and throughout the offseason?
It was kind of no closure. Tell you the truth, because we saw that Nichols had lost and he was 8-3, and we built up. If we beat Lamar at the end of the season and get 9 wins, of course we had a chance to get in, and dominoes kind of happened that way. And then of course we didn't get in. It was on a Sunday, and then we told the kids, and then they went home. They didn't have school that week because it was Thanksgiving. So it was a little different, but it made up for a good off season, a good spring training, and a really good summer. So I think our guys are over it. They want to go out and win a conference championship. In 2015, we were ranked, I think, 3rd or 4th to come out, and we ended up winning it. So it's not how you start, it's how you finish. We know that, and, a lot of tradition and history of McNeese. So these guys know that the expectations at McNeese, and it's always going to be there.
All right, so we'll open it up to questions. Again, if you have one, raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Also state your name and affiliation. We'll start with Matthew Bunnett.
Hey, Coach, Matthew Bonnet, McNeese. Coach, you led the nation in 4 different categories in defense last year, 8 categories in Southland Conference. You lost several of those defensive starters. Is this more going to be a rebuilding or a reloading of this defense this year?
Well, last year we had a lot of experience, especially on the back end. Dominique Hill had been a 4-year starter. He started as a true freshman, and Andre Fuller, he played a lot. Of course, the other weak safety position with Damon Morgan, and we also had a corner that was in and out with Jermaine Antoine, Jamorio Groves. So you had some guys that had a lot of experience playing some football, but I do think this year we have more talent. We're faster. It's just they don't have as many game reps underneath them. So last year we didn't play as much man-to-man as we did in the past. We played a lot more zone, and we was able to do that because of experience. This year we might have to play a little bit more man, which I like. I'm a man-free guy, and I'm a pressure guy. So we got some really talented guys on the back end. Most of the backers are back, and the front, I think, is going to be special this year, and it's going to start there. So I'm excited for us on defense.
Question in the back there?
Mike Guggenheimer, Baton Rouge Advocate. You spoke of the disappointment at the end of last year, but how does that play into this year? Do you just push that out of your mind, or is that something you can talk to players about for motivation? Hey, every little bit counts. I mean, how do you kind of approach carrying that through?
I think our guys were disappointed, but I think they're more disappointed that we didn't win conference. That even with the loss to Nichols at the beginning of the year, we still had a chance to win the conference championship if we'd have beaten UCA. And we went there and we didn't play real well. So I think our guys are more disappointed that we had an opportunity that we let go and ended up costing us in the end, the very first loss to Nichols. But that really didn't cost us the conference championship. We had a head-to-head match with UCA. And if we'd have beat them, we'd have at least split with the conference championship with Sam. And so it is what it is. We moved past that. We're going to try and win a conference championship this year like we always try to. And, I mean, I know the guys want to go to playoffs, but we want to win the conference championship first, and then, kind of earn our right into the playoffs, and not depend on people voting you in. So we can control our own destiny, and that's kind of our rally call.
But is that motivation? Is that something you talk about?
No, we don't talk about it. We talk about our losses from last year and avenging the losses, trying to get revenge on that. And so there's 2 teams on our schedule that beat us, and we're going to try and win those games. We know we have to. So we'll take each game one game at a time. Our first opener, of course, we fly to northern Colorado, so we're going to focus on them and just take it one game at a time. Try not to slip up anywhere.
Tyler on the right side of the back.
Tyler Nunez, Lake Charles, American Press. You moved Kerry Joseph, a former McNeese quarterback, into that quarterback's coaching role this season. What was the thought process behind that move, and where do you hope it comes out of it?
Well, when I became the head coach, of course, Coach Hofer became the offensive coordinator, and he felt like to install the offense, he needed to coach the quarterback and to really see through the eyes of the quarterback with the offense. And as we got along with it, him and Coach Joseph were very familiar with the offense and also our players. So Kerry's a natural quarterback coach, and Coach Hofer was a wide receiver at Texas Tech, so he's really more of a wide receiver coach. So it was a good swap. It's going to be really good for James Tabry, and it's already started. And also Kerry's starting to develop the younger quarterbacks. Cody Ogeron really made a big push this spring for James's job. So I think that when you got competition at every position, it's going to make you better. And so it made the Cowboys better, no doubt.
Hey, Robert Kelly, Tech Sport Publications. Coach, kicking off September 1st against Northern Colorado. Lake Charles being at sea level, and you're going into the mountains probably 4,000 or 5,000 feet up. Have you planned any special preparation or any special techniques or coaching? You're going to worry about that or not?
I don't know how you can prepare for it. We can't go practice on top of a mountain. There's none in Louisiana. The only thing I can try to get our guys maybe to cover up their noses with some bandanas at practice. I don't know what to do. Of course, in Louisiana, it's very muggy, and there's a lot of humidity. But when I was a freshman, my first flight was to Montana, and it was early in the season, and we had trouble breathing up in the mountains. So it'll be a task. We're just going to have to play a lot of people. That's why I'm going to ask our athletic directors that we can travel about 100 players so we can play all of them, So I don't know. We're not going to make a big deal out of it. We're going to everybody gets on the plane is going to have to play, and then hopefully in the fourth quarter we got enough gas to finish the game out.
Coach, I think the last couple of years there's been a lot of talk about James and his friendship/rivalry with Chase Forcade. Is something like that, where you have 2 players with a lot of history dating back to high school, is that something that's good for the team, good for the sport, just to kind of have that extra storyline with it for them?
Yeah, I think there's a friendly competition between them. Of course, 2 years ago, James outplayed Chase, but Chase was a true freshman. Last year, Chase really had a really good year, and he played well against us. But James can't tackle Chase. He can't sack Chase. Our defense is responsible for that. So, Chase is a good player, and our quarterback's going to have to play well every week. And so, yeah, I know James has that one circled, on his schedule because they're both New Orleans guys. But competition's always good, So I'm excited about that game. That's our home opener when we come back from Houston Baptist. So.
Any other questions out there? Coach, I'll ask you one defensive-related. You reassumed the defensive coordinator role a year ago. Talk about that transition. Obviously, the numbers were incredible. 6 games allowed, 12 points or less. Rush defense, #1 in the nation. Phenomenal numbers on the defensive side. What did it mean for you to get kind of re-involved in that?
Well, I think the guys were really familiar with what we did, and then when I became the head coach, I ended up hiring a defensive coordinator, and he tweaked a couple things. I think our kids lost a little bit of confidence, and so I made a decision to take it back over. But with that, there's more responsibilities, so I had to hire another guy to be my director of football ops to kind of help me with some administrative stuff. And it's hard to juggle a lot of it all. I hear the guy from Stephen F. Austin up here, and I know what he's going to go through with trying to do all that. And it is a tough job, but you just kind of got to guide yourself in certain time frames to try to get the job done. But our defensive guys really stepped up to the plate. We had one guy that made all conference last year, and on first team, and we led the nation in 2-3 categories. We set records on defense. We led almost every category on defense, and I think I'm a good coach, but I ain't that good. I mean, it's because of the players. So I was really disappointed. I was more disappointed with our kids didn't get honored at the end of the season. And I know it goes by stats a lot, and our guys didn't have as much stats as the other guys, but as a defense, they put up some great stats. I think we set a McNeese record in rush defense, a Southland Conference record, and I think the 5th ever in FCS history in rush defense. So, no, hats off to them defensive guys. I didn't make a tackle last year, not one. So they did a great job, but hopefully we can repeat that performance.
Well, your defense, as you know, #1 in 8 different Southland Conference categories on the defensive side, so job well done. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit more. I want to ask you about your schedule, more thoughts on that, and maybe a little bit more about your quarterback, James Tabry, how he spent part of his summer fine-tuning. You know what I'm talking about down there in Thibodaux. Right now, we'll toss it over to Lincoln Rose, standing by with a couple special athletes, student athletes from McNeese right now. Lincoln?
Yeah, Randy, a couple of good ones, both preseason all-conference. Of course, B.J. Blunt, the linebacker, now his senior campaign, and next to me, Luane Ross, the junior. When you're in the Southland Conference, if you want to wind up being first-team all-conference, chances are in this league, you got to be a senior. It is a deep team, so many talented individuals. Very few players did not graduate from last year's first-team all-conference squad. One of them is right next to me as a sophomore, tight end, not just as a sophomore, but playing a new position. What was that mentality like for you transitioning from running back out there to the line?
At first it was hard. You know, I've been playing running back all my life, so I didn't really want to do it at first. When Coach Guidry had came to me, Coach Hofer had came to me, it was just like, nah, I don't think I could do that. But going through 7-on-7 in the off season, and then transitioning into spring ball, it started to get, kind of became more. I realized it was kind of natural, you know, running routes and all that. So I mean, after a while, it got pretty easy, and I started to like it.
BJ, you're from the New Orleans area, but your path from New Orleans to Lake Charles was not as quick as you had hoped. You had signed with the Cowboys out of high school, wound up going the JUCO route. What was it about McNeese that kept them on your radar, knowing that that was going to be your ultimate destination?
To be honest, man, coming out of JUCO, you know, I was All-American. I had a lot of offers. And I originally committed to Memphis, then decommitted and committed to Texas Tech. Winded up couldn't get into those schools because of my grades. And Coach Guidry, man, he just came through for me. I was actually going to just try to go play pro or squeeze in however I could get in, but Coach Guidry came through for me, pulled me in, and, hey, it's been the best year.
Is DWA still a thing in Lake Charles? Coach Guidry's last year's defensive coordinator, I think we were hearing all about defense with attitude. Is that something that was there waiting for you when you showed up in Lake Charles?
Oh, yeah, because I think of myself as a very physical player. You know, I try to play very physical. And coming into the team, it was a lot of finesse guys like Dominique Hill, who was just acclimated. He was acclimated into the program, so he could play without actually sprinting full speed every play. You know what I'm saying? He could play without just all natural instincts. And coming in with guys like that and just throwing me into the role as an enforcer, I loved it. I loved it.
Luane, because of the history of McNeese, sometimes I'll call them the Yankees of the Southland Conference. Basically, you have more rings than people have fingers on their hands typically. You wearing your title from a couple years ago when you all had a perfect regular season. But it means a lot of families. It means a lot of sons, a lot of nephews of former Cowboys standouts. But you're in a unique situation. You actually get to be a teammate of a family member, your brother. What's it been like with you and Ryan? Of course, Ryan is still in that backfield as a running back.
It's been a blessing. You know, a lot of people can't experience that. In my first year coming out here, it just helped me a lot. You know, he showed me a lot of the ropes and how to handle a lot of situations. And he made it easier for me to come out here.
We've seen a lot of exciting things on campus for McNeese, a lot of new facilities, the basketball venue now on campus. Football, you guys got a new playing surface. First time you saw that, what were your reactions?
I loved it. Took my shoes off, just ran on it a little bit. But it's been it's nice.
You don't think that the hole's going to lose a little cred?
Nah, not at all. I think it'll be better.
It's not too pretty?
Nah, it'll be better if anything.
A junior college national championship, you mentioned obviously you were a big part of that as an All-American. what can you take from that experience of winning the final game of the season, come into a program like McNeese, where even we heard it over and over again just a moment ago, Coach, 9 wins, 9 wins, 9 wins. This is one of the few programs in FCS that is not exactly the goal that you're looking for at the end of the year. You're looking for hardware. For you, winning that national championship, coming to McNeese, what are the similarities in the mentality now in Lake Charles for you?
I mean, hard work, you know. When I came in, this was my first time actually doing the summer in the college program. So, you know, it was kind of getting adjusted to being able to breathe and push myself, but I was trying to lead the guys, and that actually gave me a boost, you know. That actually gave me that extra burst that I needed to get to that next level during those workouts and conditioning. But it all start with discipline, man. Starting online.
You talk about trying to find any path into the next level to play professionally. For you, what does that mean this year? What do you have to be able to do on the field this year in the Southland Conference to land on the radar?
So you got to dominate. All-American, man, that's the goal, you know. I've been playing a long time. In my eyes, I've been playing a while, and I've been playing for free. I don't think about money. That's not the goal, man. My mom been broke forever, so it's just acclimating, you know. It's adjusting, man. I feel like I'm gonna be an All-American, and that's the goal.
Luane, this year, and then again, still another year, one of the prodigies in the Southland Conference, again, just a junior this year, but representing your school. Where's your biggest stride now? You've already played your first year as a tight end. Where's there still room for improvement after already being first team all-conference?
To definitely be in the run game. My blocking could definitely improve more.
Your brother telling you that, or is that something that you've identified?
Nah, the coach has been telling me, and I could kind of see it on film too. So that's what we've been working on this summer. Just footwork and really the basic things starting from square one, and I think that'll help a lot this summer. This fall.
It's a conference that is never easy. McNeese, obviously a disproportionate amount of success, but just getting out of the state of Louisiana all of a sudden is proving a challenge with the way Nichols has been playing, as well as, again, the folks over in Hammond, Louisiana. What have those rivalries been like to keep your focus one game at a time, knowing that whoever's in front of you, it always seems like a big game with a target on your backs? I
think we go into every game with that mindset. You know, we just got to play our ball every game, no matter who it is, and that's just going to help us stack wins.
Well, again, Randy, Cowboys last year, I think most of us thought they would be number 4 in for the Southland Conference. But as Coach put it, you can control your own destiny by claiming that championship. McNeese looking for some more hardware to put in Lake Charles.
All right, those guys certainly motivated, and up and down this roster, these guys are hungry to prove and get back to postseason play. We talked about that. You hear and listen to your players. How does that make you feel as a head coach? They're pretty intense. They're ready to go.
They are. They both had to transition, both of them. Of course, BJ had signed with us initially, and he had ended up going to junior college, came back. He started as a safety to begin the season. We had some injuries, and we moved him to linebacker, and it really benefited us having a fast linebacker like he is. And so he's going to have a great year this year. I know it because he's finally got a year underneath his belt. And Luane, it took some convincing, some twisting of the arm. No running back wants to be, you know, he don't want to listen to playing tight end. But I told Luane, I said, look, you'll be on the field every play. I said, just think about catching the ball downfield, and only defensive backs get to tackle you. And he started to smile. So anyway, it's a work in progress. He knows he needs to be a better blocker. But if he gets that down, he's going to play on the next level.
All right, let's talk about your quarterback. We spoke, right after we finished the podium stuff a few minutes ago. Your quarterback, Tabbery, busy summer, hanging out at the Manning camp. What is that? You know what he went through, and I'm sure you've heard stories already. How do you think that's helped him?
Oh, it's helped him. It always helps when you coach other players, and that's what he did over there. And he threw a bunch of balls. He came back, and the week that he came back, he couldn't throw any balls at practice in the morning because his arm was still hurting. But it was really good for him. He learned a lot of things, and he was able to come back and share some things with Coach Joseph as well, which Coach Joseph has a lot of knowledge. But, yeah, he's been very busy, and so really excited for him what kind of senior year he'll have.
Third season running this offense. I know you trust him as a head coach. He's a guy out there. He's a kind of a coach on the field for you. He had 4 300-yard games. What areas of his game did you see develop most last season?
Well, last season he struggled a little bit more than the first one, but there was probably some different reasons, but it was some good learning experience for him. I think this year we'll capitalize off of it. But, you know, it all starts up front. We have to be able to run the football, take some pressure off of James to where we don't have to throw on early downs. We do have to keep people off balance. I understand that. But guys like LaWayne and Austin Nelson coming back at tight end along with some others, and we feel like we have 4 or 5 running backs that can all play. So we'll probably be a little bit more old school than we have been in a while. So ain't no use in hiding it. People are going to see it on film.
What have you learned and continue to learn your time around the Southland Conference? You know, how much parity there is across this league?
Well, you know, a team can go from the bottom to the top very quick. Coaching staffs change very quickly. This is gonna be my third year. I completed 2 years, and now I'm the oldest tenured guy in the conference. I mean, that don't make sense to me. I haven't even finished my contract yet.
There you go. You got to work on it.
So it changes very quick, and of course with the transfers coming in to different places, it's kind of who gets hot with the transfer. I saw Southeastern do it with the Bennett kid, and Sam Houston's always done it with a quarterback. So it changes very quickly, and but we just try to stay steady. Our recruiting mostly is done in high school, but we do take transfers and junior college guys as well.
All right, let's talk a little bit about your schedule now. You touched on it briefly. You've got the opener at Northern Colorado. Then you've got HBU. And then you've got, Nichols. You got the Nichols home opener. And then a trip to BYU. So talk about how the schedule kind of shakes out, especially in that first month.
Yeah, the first game is going to be very tough, of course. We haven't flown in a couple years, probably since the Nebraska trip, I think. So we'll be on a plane. Some of the guys have never flown before, and so it's going to be hard to breathe up there. But it's going to be a tough game. I know that. And of course, then we open up conference play against Houston Baptist. We've never been there before, and so we got to take care of business one at a time. And then of course we come home and we play against Nichols in our home opener. Be on our brand new turf that we got, and then. Of course, we go to BYU, and that's our big money game, and we like playing those games because we've had some success against FBS opponents.
Hey, real quick, I want to ask you about the change at the stadium now with the new turf. It's the new look. I've seen a little bit of it online as well. That's probably getting a lot of rave reviews so far, right?
Yeah, you know, our old turf was very slippery. Yeah. This one, we're not slipping as much, of course, but our defense kind of liked the old turf. We called it the 12th man. We break down film, and every time we break down film of opponents we played, the turf he probably has more assists.
Factor.
Yeah, he has more total tackles than some of our players on defense. So we're going to miss the old turf in some ways, but no, it's good. I mean, it's good for running backs and DBs that you have good footing. So we're really excited about our new turf.
All right. Keys when you start camp, do you set some priorities? You've been through spring, you know the drill with that, but once you actually open camp, what are the early priorities for you guys?
Well, we have to get some young wide receivers to learn fast. We're going to need some help at that position. It's where we probably took the biggest loss on offense. We have a lot of offensive linemen coming back, so I feel good about that with some transfer guys, and I'm really excited about our running backs and our tight ends. We feel like we have a bunch of depth there, and just keep competing at the quarterback position and all over the field on offense. Defensively, just getting everybody to try to contribute and get guys competing against each other daily. That's what we do. Every day we adjust the depth chart. We make it as competitive as we can because we know during the course of the year that people get hurt. So we're going to approach it. Going to be a little bit smarter probably this fall camp than we have been in the past. Maybe probably not scrimmage as many plays as we've had, but I'm excited, really excited.
You sensing the community support already? I mean, it never leaves you. I mean, you guys get really good fan support. But are you sensing already they're prepared for a new season? Some support you guys.
They're always ready for a new season. You know, they talk about football 24/7. So
they love it.
Yeah, they do. They love it. And of course, I played there. I played there in the early '90s, and I grew up as a little kid watching it. So I saw some of the greatest players play in the hole. And so I know the importance of McNeese football. It's great for the community. It's great for the school. And I know it's a big job, but it's my alum. It's my alma mater, and I love being there.
Outstanding. Best of luck this season. Pleasure to talk with you. Head coach Lance Guidry set to start year number 3 at McNeese. Should be a big season for the Cowboys. Good luck to you.